And hello everyone, this is Yugioh. Welcome back to the channel. So, today, I have a new deck profile for you guys. This is Crystron. Specifically, this is Canine Crystron. So, Justice Hunters has three really good archetypes in it, in Dracotail, Yummy, and Canine. Dracotail's kind of fallen off as of recording this video, and right now the two decks that are dominating the OCG are Yummy and Canine Vanquish Soul. Canine certainly demonstrating itself as one of the best engines of the format. But there's a lot of other decks you can play it in aside from just Vanquish Soul, and one of them is Crystron. So I'll take a little bit of time and go over a bit of what the deck can do. I'll go over the main, go over the extra. I'll go over a few other options you can consider for your deck. And then I'll end the video off with some test hands. So, without any further ado, let's just jump right into it, starting off with the main deck. So, I'd like to start off the main deck by going over the Canine. It's going to be a lot of reading, and I'm very sorry about that. We're starting off with two copies of Canine 17 Izuna. This is a level 5 Earth Warrior, and you can only use the second, third effect of this card once per turn. If your opponent has at least 2 or more cards in their hand, you can normal summon her without tributing. During the main phase, if your opponent has activated a monster effect in the hand or graveyard, quick effect, you can special summon her from your hand, and if she is normal or special summoned, you can send one Canine card, except for Izuna, from your deck to the graveyard. Izuna is really powerful. She is one of the best monsters in the deck. This lets you play on turn 0 if you're going second, right? Your opponent activate any monster in the hand or graveyard, you can immediately just drop an Izuna. And as for what you're sending with her, you are sending this guy. This is Canine 0 Lupus. He is a level 5 Earth Beast Warrior, and you can only use his first and second effect once per turn. If your opponent has activated a monster effect in the hand or graveyard this turn, during either player's turn, you can summon her from your hand or graveyard, but banish him when he leaves the field. During your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect Exceed Summon using him as material, and then the Exceed monster that has him as material has your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Lupus is really good. This is what lets you play on your opponent's turn, right? You go summon Izuna, you send Lupus, you bring back Lupus, you overlay, make a rank 5, and you already have board presence. He's really good. He's really good. You only need the one, though, because he is tutorable off of Izuna, and having multiple copies in your hand is not great. So this is just like a general Canine engine. You could argue that maybe I should bump up the Izunas to 3. Certainly, I think if you want to play Canine as a package, you probably need 3 Izuna plus the 1 Lupus. We're also playing 3 copies of Canine 66A Yugioh. So she is a level 5 Dark Aqua. You can only use each effect of her once per turn. If your opponent has at least 2 or more cards in their hand, you can normal summon her for free, like Izuna. You can reveal her in your hand and one level 5 monster in your hand. Summon them both. However, while you control them, they cannot be used as material for the Exceed summon of a light monster. And then during your main phase, you can add 1 non-Aqua Canine from your deck to your hand. This is the main point of synergy between Canine and Crystron. This only cares about level 5s in the hand to summon, and Crystron has some really good level 5s that you want to get onto the board immediately. She also searches your entire Canine engine, including this guy. This is Canine 66B Lantern. So he is a level 5 Dark Pyro. Like Yugioh and Izuna, if your opponent has at least 2 more cards in their hand, you can normal summon him for free. And then his other 2 effects, which are hard ones per turns, you can target 1 other Canine in your graveyard, summon this guy from your hand, summon the other target from the graveyard, but you cannot use them to Exceed summon a light monster. And then during your main phase, you can add 1 Canine Spell Trap from your deck to your hand. This is one of the only ways to recur Canine monsters. Actually, this is the only Canine monster that gets things out of the graveyard. I mean, I guess Lupus kind of counts, but so he's just useful as a little extender. If you open really well, you're generally gonna go Yugioh, grab him just to make more rank 5s. So you do need the one. I don't think you need any more though. So that does it actually for the Canine monsters. We're not playing a very big Canine lineup because the rest are just Crystrons. We are playing 3 copies of Sulfador and 3 copies of Sulfafnir. I used to be playing only 2 of Sulfafnir. However, you go through level 5s in this deck pretty fast. So I like having extra level 5s in the deck just in case, because you can get them out of the deck really quickly, and often what happens is at the end of the game, you don't have these in your deck anymore, so you cannot apply effects like Tristaros and summon them out later. So I did bump up the Sulfafnir to 3. We're playing 1 Thistavern. Thistavern is good in this deck because it lets you search Obviously, that's really strong. With a canine combo that I'll show you later, you can go Thistleburn, which grabs you this guy, Smiger. Smiger is easily the better one of the two. Thistleburn is optional. You could probably cut him. He is definitely not an optimal choice. He's a really awkward level. Level 3 is not good. And he has a really awkward stat line, 1500 attack. The problem with that is it's too weak to make things like Clockwork Knight in the extra deck. But Smiger is 1000, so he fits that perfectly. And his effect to search Crystron spells and traps is much better. We're playing 2 copies of Tristars and 1 Sitri. Sitri is also suboptimal. You don't need it. I'm playing it because I want to play Crystron, Corian Gandrax, and if you want to play Corian Gandrax, you need the Sitri, but this card is very much cuttable. If anything, you probably should cut it if you want to play optimally. And then 1 Scrap Recycler. You have ways of searching this card, and this is your best normal summon. At the end of the video, when I go over the combo, I will show you how to use Scrap Recycler. That does it for the engine pieces. As for our non-engine, we are playing, of course, the second best card in the OCG, the best card in the OCG, the third best card in the OCG, and Ghost Spell. Ghost Spell, I think, is a really good card this format. It hits a lot of good decks. It stops the yummy Synchro and Link monsters from tagging out and bringing them back from the graveyard. It negates the Dracotail trap cards. It negates the Dracotail fusions to bring themselves back from the graveyard. It negates Lupus's effect to summon himself back from the graveyard. It negates Rock of the Vanquisher's effect to add back from the graveyard. There's a lot of things that play with the graveyard right now, and Ghost Spell stops all of them. If not Ghost Spell, though, Droll Mockbird is also really powerful against Vanquished Soul Canine. So that does it for the monster lineup. Going on into the spells. So as for the spells we are playing 3 copies of Crystron Inclusion, our Searcher. 1 Case of Canine. This is basically inclusion for canines. So you can only activate 1 per turn. When it's activated, you can add 1 canine monster from your deck to your hand. And then if your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand or graveyard this turn, all your canine monsters will gain 900 attack. I believe this works like Tilliman's Scream. So like if you have Case of Canine, your opponent activates Ash Blossom, and then you summon Yugioh later, Yugioh will get the 900 attack point boost. I believe that's how it works, don't quote me on that. And then if this card spawn traps when it is destroyed by card effect, you can set 1 Canine Quick Play spell from your deck or graveyard. Canine is a incredibly recursive engine, and this is a big part of why that is, right? Yokel grabs any non-aqua canine, which can grab Lantern, which can then grab this, which then grabs Yugioh, which grabs Lupus. Lantern grabs this, which can grab Yokel, which can grab Yugioh. This can grab Yokel, which can grab Lantern, or which can grab Yokel, which can grab Yugioh. You get the idea. Canines are incredibly recursive. And then as for the Canine Quick Play spell, we are playing 1 Canine EX. I believe this is Forced Liberation. So this is a quick play spell. During the main phase, you can target 1 canine Xyz monster you control. Xyz summon 1 canine monster with a different name using that monster as material. Then you can discard a card in the field. At the end of the battle phase, if a canine monster you control battled, you can set this card back from your graveyard. You're probably only going to use this effect once, maybe twice. I don't know how you'd actually do that. This is in here just so that you get more value off of some of your monster effects, right? Like let's say you open Lantern in Case of Canine. You can't use Lantern's effect to search. You might as well just like grab the Forced Liberation. You could consider cutting it. I don't think that's the best idea, but I don't think you lose that much if you do. I like it though in the deck. Also playing 2 copies of Chaotic Elements. This is a card from Alliance Insight, so you can only use each effect once per turn. The effect that matters is you can add 1 level 5 or higher light or dark, aqua, or pyro from your deck or graveyard to your hand. It has other things, like if you have at least 3 pyros or aquas on your field, you can destroy 1 card in the field. That doesn't matter. It has a graveyard effect too. You can banish it, target, I think, a light or dark, aqua, or pyro. Your opponent can take control of it. Also, does not matter. This is how we search for Yokel and Lantern. You could, I mean, if you're not going to play these cards, maybe bump up Case of Canine to 2, maybe 3. As for the rest of the spell and trap lineup, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Crossout, 2 Called By, OCG has it too, and 1 Cluster. We're not playing Imperm in this deck because I don't think targeting effects are very good right now, especially targeted negation. Dracotail has quick effect fusion effects. Yummies can tag themselves out. Vanquish Soul can tag themselves out. Lupus makes it so that the monster that it summons cannot be targeted by card effects, so I think Imperm is not a very good card in the format right now. That's why we are not playing it. So that does it for the spells and traps. Going on into the extra deck. The extract is very flexible, and it's also very tight. There's a lot of different cards that you can consider playing, but you cannot play everything. So starting off with the synchros, we're playing 2 copies of Eleskeletus, 1 Dawn Dragster, and 1 Cornean Gandrax. You absolutely need at least 1 Eleskeletus and 1 Dawn Dragster. The second one might be unnecessary. I know some K9 Crystron lists only play the 1. I like having 2 because I've had games where my cluster gets outed, and if cluster gets outed, like you lose your whole grind game with Crystron. So having a second Eleskeletus get back the cluster, and then use that cluster to put back the first Eleskeletus, that can matter. And the Cornean Gandrax, I just like this card. It's not very good. I think you could get away with cutting it. I've seen K9 Crystron lists that only play 1 Eleskeletus and Dawn Dragster, but I just like this card, and so I want to play it. As for the Xyz, we're playing 1 copy of K917 Ripper. This is a rank 5 Wind Warrior. Requires 2 level 5s. You can only use each effect once per turn. You can detach 1 material from this card, add a K9 card from your deck to your hand. Then, if your opponent has activated a monster effect this turn, you can also set 1 K9 Quick Play spell from your deck or graveyard. And then, when your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand or a graveyard quick effect, you can attach 1 material from this card, negate that effect. This insulates you against hand traps. This is disruption on your opponent's turn. K9 Ripper is a really, really good card. You can also use it to rank up into the K9 boss monster. This is K9 EX Werewolf. Rank 9 Light Beast Warrior, requires 2 level 9s. That doesn't matter. You can only use each effect once. You can only use the second effect once per turn. This card with material can attack that many times each battle phase. So, if you have Ripper plus material, so if it has 2 materials, it can attack twice. And then when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can detach 1 material from this card, apply the following effect depending on whose turn it is. If it is your turn, you can banish up to 1 card from your opponent's field and or graveyard. And then if it's during your opponent's turn, you can look at your opponent's hand, then banish 1 card from face up until the end of the turn. This is your finisher. Forced Liberation is how you get this thing out, right? You have Ripper, you rank it up. Summon this, destroy a card, swing, or rip a card out of your opponent's hand for a single turn. Werewolf is really good. If you're not going to play Werewolf, then you don't need to play Forced Liberation. We're playing 1 Nova, 1 Infinity. We have level 5 machines, might as well. 1 Riverstormer. This is the point of synergy between K9 and Crystron. K9 can make this, and this searches for an Earth machine, so it can search for Scrap Recycler. As for the other K9 related removal, we're playing 1 copy of Nashnite. So if you don't know what Nashnite does, the main effect that matters is during either player's turn, you can detach 2 materials from this card, take an over 100 number monster from your extract and attach it to this card's material. Then you can attach 1 other face-up monster on the field to this card as material. That's another effect. It's like if there's a number on the field that cannot be destroyed by battle, that doesn't really matter. And as for our over 100 number, we are playing number C107. And this can be any over 100 number. It doesn't particularly matter. One reason why I am playing Tachyon, though, is because it has some pretty nice synergy with this card. This is Chronomaly Vimana. So this is a rank 5 light machine. Requires 2 level 5 monsters. So during the player's turn, once per turn, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field and 1 either Chronomaly or Xyz monster in your graveyard. The target on the field gains attack equal to half the attack of the target in the graveyard. Then attach that target from the graveyard to this card as material. The other effect is during once per turn during the player's turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can attach 2 materials from this card, negate the activation. So Vimana lets you recycle Xyz in the graveyard, and this is why Tachyon matters, right? Vimana can target itself maybe, and then target the Tachyon engrave and give anything a boost of 2250, which is massive, and then attach it later. Then you might be wondering, wait a minute, this thing's a light. I thought Yokel and Lantern say you can't use them to exceed some light monsters. That's true. You're mainly making this with Ripper and not Ripper, making this with Izuna and Lupus. However, in very niche cases, because it is a machine, you can make it after you've applied some of the Crystron effects. Crystrons lock you into machines. A lot of them do anyway. Tristars and Sulfidar do. So let's say like you already burned your Infinity and you want to get a negate up, you can overlay your Sulfector and Sulfidar and make this thing instead. And then of course, the Onezus. As for our links, we are playing 1 Clockwork Knight and 1 SP Little Knight. rounding out our 15 card extra deck. So before I go into the combo video, I'd like to show you a few other cards you can consider playing in your extra deck. So as for cards you can potentially consider playing, of course you can always play Hound. So if you don't know what Hound does, to turn this card is special summon, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Each time your opponent activates a monster effect, this card gains 500 attack immediately after it resolves, and then during the standby phase, once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, then target one card in the field, and then banish it. You make this with Yugioh and Lupus. It cannot be targeted, cannot be destroyed that turn, and it's just going to sit on your board and get big as your opponent combos, right? They can do 3 monster effects, this thing goes up to 4,000, and it can swing over something. Or you can have this, right? And then you force liberation, rank it up into werewolf, and then it has like, you know, maybe what 3 materials underneath it. You can attack 3 times, so that's another thing you can do. I want to play Hound, I just don't have the extra space for it, but it's certainly a good card. You can also play a second Ripper. You also play this guy. This is Valon, I think it's the Phantom Skyblaster. This is a Skyblast Musketeer. I think it's related to Castel in some way. This is rank 5 Dark Psychic. During either player's turn, you can detach one material from this card, target one face-up monster their opponent controls, and then change it face down. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one set card on the field and destroy it. I know a lot of canon lists play this. It is a non-light rank 5, and that matters a lot. The problem that I had with Valon is flipping a monster face down doesn't feel that powerful. In this format specifically. Against Vanquish Soul, right, you target their Raisin, they just chain Heavy Borger, they tag out. If you try to target a Yummy, they can just tag out. If you flip down a Dracotail monster, it's fine, you can fuse with face downs. You can't target a Hound because you probably have Lupus underneath it. It has its uses. You can flip down certain things early as preventative measures. When I used it, it just didn't feel as high impact as I wanted it to be, so I ended up cutting it. You can also play Nash Knight, the Chaotic Seas version of Nash Knight, because we are playing it, might as well. If you do choose to go this route, there's a good argument to also play 101 and C101. I know some canine lists do use this. C101 is just nice removal, right? Target a monster, attach its material. That's, you know, it doesn't destroy. So that's something that, you know, sometimes decks have a hard time playing around with. And also, it's hard to remove because if it gets destroyed while it has material, it comes back. And then you gain life once you use attack, but you have to have 101 in the graveyard. So it's just a sticky monster that's hard to get rid of. You can also play Typhon. Typhon and Lupus is a really good combo. You can go activate Lupus effect during your opponent's turn if they summon twice from the extra deck, and then just use Lupus itself to make Typhon. The problem with playing Typhon in K9 Crystron specifically is that Skeletus has an effect that says, while it's on the field, all your opponent's monsters lose 500 attack and defense, which turns off Typhon's effect to prevent the effects of monsters with 3,000 more attack, right? So like if one has a Zeus, let's say they have 2-mat Zeus, and you have a Typhon and Skeletus, they can use that Zeus effect because its attack is 2,500, not 3,000. So that's why we ended up cutting it. And then also, you can also consider playing Fleetfoot Genius. Now, why Genius over, say, Little Knight? Was because Genius is a machine. As I mentioned earlier, Crystron Tristaros and Crystron Sulfidor will lock you into machines from the extra the turn you activate some of their effects. So if you're in a situation, let's say you have like Clockwork Knight and Scrapper Cycle on the board, and you've already used Tristaros or Sulfidor, and you need a way to link those two off, you can always just link into Fleetfoot Genius. There's also some other funny incidental synergy. Genius has an effect that says if 2 monsters are summoned to zones it points at the same time, you can add a level 5 or higher machine. So you can add like another Sulfafnir or another Sulfidor if you really want to, and Tristaros summons 2 Crystals from deck. So that is something you can consider doing. If you want to go that route, maybe consider playing like a Therian King Regulus to search for. That's just something that you can consider. If you are concerned about the machine lock, you do have a machine link option. So that does it for the main tech choices. Let me just shuffle up and get ready, and I'll show you a few test hands. So I will see you in a bit. Okay, so we're going to try maybe 2-3 test hands, see what we can do. K9 does a lot. It can do a lot of different things. Oftentimes, your combo lines are going to depend on when and when your opponent hand traps you, if they hand trap you at all. We're going to assume that our opponent doesn't hand trap us because they're bad. and we will see what we can get. So, here we go. We try test hand number 1. We're hoping to draw a Yokel and a Sulfador. That's like the best opening you can ask for. So, here we go. Test hand number 1. It's pretty good. That's not bad. Nah, that's not great. Okay, so we did not open Sulfador, but it's fine. We can still do our combo. So what we're going to do first is we're going to activate Yokel, and we're going to reveal our Sulfef here. All right, so we're going to summon these two. And we will use Yokel's effect to add a non-Aqua Canine. In this position, we're going to grab Lantern. All right, we're going to overlay these two. We're going to make a rank 5. Here, we're going to make Ripper, specifically. This is going to insulate us from any future hand traps. And we'll go Ripper effect, detaching Yokel specifically. We have to detach the Yokel here to grab a Canine card. Here we can grab Forced Liberation, we can grab Case of Canine, it doesn't particularly matter. We'll just grab another Yokel for like next turn. We can then activate the effect of Lantern, target the Yokel engraved to summon them back. And we can go Lantern effect to add a Canine Starlight Trap. We will add Case of Canine here. Although I suppose, actually, off the Ripper, instead of adding the Yokel, we can add the Forced Liberation here. So now we have access to the entire engine, because activate Case of Canine will grab us another Yokel. We can grab Lupus here, too, to play around Ghost Spell. Right, if we're afraid that our opponent has Ghost Spell, and they might want to Ghost Spell us on the Lupus summon, we can always put the Lupus in hand. So, now, from this position, what we're going to do is we're going to overlay these two. For a rank 5, we're going to make Riverstormer. The Riverstormer effect will detach the Lantern, doesn't matter what we detach here, and we will grab Scrap Recycler. Okay, we'll normal the Recycler. Recycler effect to send a machine from deck to grave. Let's send a Sulfador. Or we can actually just send the Fistaburn here. And then, we're going to link this Scrap Recycler, and we're going to turn it into a Clockwork Knight. Now, Clockwork Knight has a hidden ability. You can target a machine in your graveyard with 1,000 or less attack, tribute one other machine, and then summon that target back. So we'll sack up the Riverstormer, and then get back the Scrap Recycler, which is not once per turn, by the way. We can then go Scrap Recycler effect to send another machine. We can send a Sulfador here. Well, we can grab the Sulfador with the Fistaburn, so I'm not going to do that. And we already have the Smyger in hand. So, I think what we'll do instead is we will just send... I think we'll just send a Smite. We will send a Sulfador. Or we can actually, we'll just send this. We can just send Citri, right, just to get out of the deck. Alright, because now what we can do is we can activate the effect of Fistavern, banish it, add a Crystron monster. Here we add Sulfador. Before we go any further, just in case, we're going to link these two off and we will make the SP Little Knight. We can then activate our Sulfefnir, discarding the Smyger to summon it, destroy itself, and then when it's destroyed, we can summon a Crystron from our deck. We'll get our Tristaros. Here we have Smyger. You can activate Smyger to grab Inclusion. Inclusion effect will grab Cluster here. We've already have the Sulfador. We don't really need to add any other Crystrons. And now we just do Crystron things. Activate Sulfador, target the Inclusion, destroy it, summon it. We can use the effect of Mill too. We don't really have to because we've already effectively done it with the Scrap Recycler. So I suppose we could. We can still go Sulfador effect. We send a Smyger. I think I send Smyger. Maybe an Inclusion. this is not optimal. I will let you know, but it's something that we can consider doing. Because now what we can do is when we sync... Well, actually, this isn't the worst, because when we synchro these two, we make Eleskeletus. We go Eleskeletus effect, we can then add back the inclusion while keeping one engrave. Go Tristaros. Destroy the Eleskeletus, summon 2 from deck. We'll get Sulfidor and Sulfefnir. And then activate Eleskeletus, we'll get back the Tristaros. And then overlay these to make Nova Infinity. And then also, if we want to like threaten Cori and Gandrax, we can go Inclusion effect, banish it, target the Citri, and get it back too. We can then set the cluster, set the experiment, force liberation, and pass. So right now we have a monster negate, an omni negate, quick effect banish. Destroy. We can destroy a card. We can destroy another card. And we can also make a Dawn Dragster here, or we can make Cori Gandrax and banish 3. Not to mention, we also have Izuna in hand, so if they do any other monster effects, we can just summon the Izuna, send Lupus, and keep popping up. If at any point they hand trapped us, this Izuna was live. So overall, pretty solid board. Got that off only a handful of cards. So. We'll try one more test hand and see what we can get. Alright, give our deck a nice little cut. And here we go, test hand number 2. Okay. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, so I think first thing we do, we have to Case of K9. This is admittedly not the best hand, but I think we can still make it work. Case of K9 is going to grab us Yokel. I think we always grab Yokel here. We go Yokel effect, revealing the Izuna in hand, summon these two. We then go Yokel, or you go Izuna effect to send, we'll send the Lupus into rotation, and we'll go Yokel effect, and we will add Lantern. Alright, here we make Ripper again. If this Izuna got ashed, we can Ripper and grab Lupus this way anyway. Plus, we'd also get to search. Here we can go Lantern, target the Lupus. Overlay these two for our River Stormer, and look at that, we are at the same position we were last time. So we'll attach the Lantern here. Doing it this way means that our River Stormer can't get impermed. And we'll grab our Scrap Recycler. So I will say this is a more interesting position to be in because we don't have access to Sulfidor very easily. So let me show you how we can kind of pivot into that. Because we're going to normal our Scrap Recycler, and we're going to send ourselves I think we'll send ourselves a Fistavern. We'll send ourselves a Sulfefnir. Alright, because we can discard Sulfefnir that way. Alright, Link, we make the Clockwork Knight. Go Clockwork Knight effect, sack off the River Stormer, get back the Scrap Recycler, go Recycler effect, and I think here we'll send Fistavern. Here we go Fistavern effect, we banish, we add Smiger. Activates Sulfefnir, discarding the Smiger. Bring this back, blow it up. We then go Sulfefnir effect. We will summon out Sulfidor, I think. Summon someone with Sulfidor? No, we want the Tristaros. Go Smiger, banish, add inclusion. Oh, and I suppose before I forget, we turn the Recycler and Clockwork Knight into Little Knight before we machine lock ourselves. So Fafnir doesn't machine lock you, surprisingly. Alright, activate inclusion, and now we have access to Solfador. And I think this is a more standard Crystron line. We go Solfador, target the inclusion, blow it up, we summon it. And you go Solfador effect, we will send Cluster. And I think we will send... We can't send another copy of inclusion because we have to burn the L-Skeletons and get the Cluster back. So I think we will just send another Smiger. I don't think it matters that much. Sets us up for the next turn. We synchro for Eleskeletus. Eleskeletus will get us back the Cluster. We can go Chistaros, blow up the Eleskeletus. Here, I think we'll get Citri and Sulfafnir. We have quite a few level 5s in deck. We'll grab another Sulfafnir. And then with the Eleskeletus, we'll get back to Tristaros. Sorry, put him over here. Activate the inclusion. We'll target our Solfador Engrave. Bring it back. And then look at that. We have the same board. Nova, Infinity, set the cluster, pass. And look at that. We have the exact same setup. We can also we can go Ripper Effect, since we never did that. Ripper Effect, attach Izuna, and grab our second Izuna. This way, we have additional follow-up. So as you can see, K9 can, as long as you draw, like Crystron can do Crystron things pretty easily, and so long as you have access to K9s, because K9s will dig for themselves so easily, you can easily access the Crystron part of your deck, depending on, or basically off a lot of different combinations of cards. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, do whatever you do, never like a video on YouTube, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.